I let my stalker into my house. I was 22 years old, just moved to Los Angeles. I was living with my tia's friend, and I had a great apartment. I was loving life. I was working as an interior designer. I'd just gotten out of a horrible relationship, and I wanted to find a man. So what did I do? Downloaded Tinder, of course, and I went on lots of dates and swiped on basically anyone I thought was even remotely cute. I matched with one man in particular. Don't remember what his name is, which is horrifying. And I had a date scheduled with him. He came over to my apartment. My roommate was not home. They were working. And we had some wine and watched a movie. That was like the date plan. And I let them to the house, and they were probably with me for about like 20, maybe 30 minutes before they like let it slip that they were my stalker. Now, mind you, I did not know I had a stalker. I did not know that I was cute enough to stalk or interesting enough to stalk. But this man had let it slip that he knew things about me. While we were talking, I would say something about my recent past, and he would say, "Yeah, I know." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And I kept poking and prodding him on these questions, like, "How do you know that?" Like, I didn't save it on my Tinder bio. I didn't have anything posted on social media. Their TikTok wasn't a thing yet. So I didn't really have a lot of my public life out there. And he had told me, he'd be like, "Well, I first saw you a few years ago." And I was like, "What?" He said that he had swiped right on me on a dating app a few years prior, and I never matched with him for whatever reason. And this man found out who I was, and he started just like watching me on social media and like looking at my life. And I had gotten a boyfriend, so I deleted my dating profiles, and that's apparently what triggered him to start like looking me up. And I was dating this man for like 2 years. I was dating my boyfriend for 2 years. So this man was watching me for a long time. And then he finally got on a date with me, and then he ruined it for himself by first telling me that he was my stalker and he knew everything about me. And I was dumb enough to let him in my house. And so I was thinking like, okay, this man can become very dangerous very quickly if he is unhinged. I didn't know. He didn't show signs of being crazy, except for the fact that, he had been watching and following my life for the past few years just because he saw my picture on a dating app. So I was thinking, how do I handle this situation? And in my mind, I was like, I don't want to fight. At the time, I was like very underweight. I was a very tiny little twink because of, other issues that I had. So I was like, we're going to befriend. And I was like, oh, that's so funny. Ha 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 ha. Like, try to make him feel comfortable with it. I didn't want him to feel like I was off put. And I kept going with him for a little bit. And I had said, you know what? I think my roommate's going to be home soon. I didn't tell her I was going to have a guy over. You should probably leave. My roommate did know, by the way. I just said that to get him out. And he was like, oh, are you sure? I mean, we can still, like, hang out. Like, we can go, like, do something else, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I paraded around and danced around with him until I could get him out the door. And then he left. And then the next day, this man had texted me saying, hey, I think I lost my ID in your house. It's like, why was your ID out in my house? How was it in the position to where it was lost in my home? He wanted an excuse to see me again, right? And I go into my living room, and sure enough, right under our coffee table, his driver's license was just on the rug underneath the coffee table. Like, why? What situation? We weren't like, I wasn't having you pull your wallet out and show me shit. Like, that's so weird. Yeah, so he wanted to try to orchestrate seeing me again. So I took his ID and I said, oh, that's so sorry. But I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. And he want to like schedule another date with me so I can give him his ID. I was terrified of this man at this point. So instead, I took his ID, I put it on an envelope, and I put it on the call box of my building outside, and I said, your ID's here, blah, 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 pick it up whenever, and then I blocked him. Anyway, that's the time that I let a stalker into my home, and it could have ended very, very, very badly. Anyway, don't invite anyone into your house for a first date, because they might accidentally reveal to you that they've been following your life and stalking you online for years. Anyway, that's my story. Bye!